he's got gold!
There's 13. So
Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, defended Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.
Defender Kentucky 3-day event and Kentucky International CSI 5-star. World-class sport in dressage, cross-country and show jumping. Watch live on clipmyhorse.tv.
Well, hello there, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world to this edition of the Clip My Horse TV in and out studio, bringing you all the action ahead of Cross Country Day from the Defender Kentucky 3-day event in the US. What a weekend of sport we have in the In and Out studio and here on Clip My Horse TV. What a day of sport we have. I'm in the studio with you to bring you all of the hype, all of the build-up, all of the analysis ahead of that all-important cross-country phase. And I am joined by my lovely friend and colleague today in the analyst chair, Rosie.
But also this is the second 5-star of the year. And April's just such an amazing month because the 5-star action comes at you thick and fast, and we're right in the middle of it here today with Kentucky.
We certainly are. Really, really exciting time for eventing as we build through the spring. And I tell you what, this Kentucky competition this weekend is spicy, beefy, all the adjectives, all the colloquialisms you want to poke a stick at. Know about Kentucky then. If you are joining us and you're learning a little bit more about it, 4 fast facts about the Kentucky 3-day event. Now, the first event at Kentucky Horse Park that was actually the 3-day event was in 1978, but it's been having a horse trial since 1976. There are 4 days of competition in the 3-day event technically because 2 days are devoted to dressage, although the combinations only compete once in their dressage. Prize money this weekend in the eventing, of course, US dollars. That is all to play for all of those combos as they come forward, and one of only 6 5-star events. As Rosie was talking about, we've had one so far. We've had Adelaide in Australia has run so far, but now we are into the mix with all of that 5-star eventing coming your way as the season proper has kicked off. So lots going on in the world of eventing, none the least of which is this huge weekend in Kentucky this weekend. We want to take a look at our venue in focus. Our trusted pal, our rogue and roving reporter, Jenny Rudel, is there, and she takes a look at this venue in focus.
Welcome to the Kentucky Horse Park here in the heart of horse country. The Kentucky International 3-day event has been held here since 1976. It's where precision and skill meet and bravery and courage combine, but only one horse and rider combination can take home victory. The first phase is the dressage, and they come in to this truly spectacular arena here in Kentucky. It seats people, and just look at that turf. Most eventers are used to riding on grass. This is going to be a little bit of a shock for some of the horses, but it is truly spectacular. The terrain is perfect for eventing, with the undulating hills really testing the stamina of these horses, and the ground is perfect. We're here at the start box. This is where they'll come before they set out on course. The nerves will be high, but what a venue this is, and what a perfect setting for a day's cross country. Fence 1 here, a nice easy fence to start before they get into the thick of it and gallop across this glorious landscape. One of the feature fences here on course, just behind the huge Rolex arena, is fences 18 and 19. And this is one of the fences that the riders have been looking at, have been having a long, hard think about. You come in over a roll top into water, you've got to bend round to two angled brushes, 18B and then 19A. And then you have to come round again on a right-hand turn to a left-hand corner. There are so many questions here. You're testing your line, you're testing your braveness. You've got to jump in brave. It is one of the scariest fences on course. It's really going to put the riders to the test before they then make their way back towards home. At the 5-star level, after the endurance test of the cross country, there is, of course, the show jumping. Back in the grand arena where every stride and every second plays out before thousands. The Kentucky Horse Park. This is a venue built for horses and for the people who love them.
Big thanks to Jenny there for taking a look at the Kentucky Horse Park in focus. It is, of course, our venue all weekend. An incredible location, really, because in 2025, it became the only location to host, outside a world championship. So it is all going on, and it's all going on there this weekend as well. We have the show jumping running at the same time as the eventing in the Kentucky Horse Park. So if you're a horse person, you're probably there if you're not here or watching us. So who is absolutely loving it and very, very excited is our reporter, Jenny Rudel. She's been out on that cross-country course. I don't know if they've dragged her back in yet. They better do that before the first horse gets going. And Jenny is there bringing us up to speed on how the energy is at the Kentucky Horse Park.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. And if you can just see behind me, I'm hoping the camera can pick this up. There's a Tom McEwen doing a final walk of the course, Olympic gold medalist, just striding out behind us. The cross-country phase is now upon us. The dressage was very emotional. Monica, that amazing test, she was very emotional about her horse after the course, but it is now all about this cross-country, and it is incredibly exciting. Some amazing stories coming from the dressage. I had a wonderful chat with Podrick McCarthy, who said that he always thought his horse was a 2-star horse with a 6-star attitude. That's probably going to be one of my favourite phases from the weekend. I absolutely loved it because he just didn't know what to expect from this horse, but the horse's attitude in competition and that kind of real drive is what you need to be a 5-star horse. Of course, there's the big names like Harry Mead and Tim Price looking amazing out there. Tim has said to me that this course really, really needs riding. It's really tough. And before in the past, there's been some courses where you've had a little bit of a breather, got the horse's heart rate down again, managed to take a breath. But I think here it really comes thick and fast. I'm at one of the water fences here. Obviously, it's always really popular. This will be where the crowds are. This is going to be the first water they face. There's 4 waters in total. It's going to be tough. The ground is looking absolutely amazing, but a lot of the riders saying like it rides fast, it rides quick. So hopefully they'll be able to make it inside the time. Lots of emotions yesterday from the dressage, but as I said, all about the cross country today. It's going to be tough and it's going to be so exciting.
Oh, thanks so much, Jenny. There's almost no one more excited than Jenny Rudel out there. We're going to meet the person in the show. Rosie, we want to talk about when all this sport is coming up. Of course, you can catch us here on the 24/7 channel, bringing you all the analysis and the hype, getting you revved up for that sport. The USCF network, Clip My Horse TV, we are bringing you every minute, every hoofbeat, every heartbeat of the sport. It is all coming up, of course, and we can tell you when. You want to watch it back later. We don't want to spoil anything, of course, but you can relive it in our archive. But it is all available for you on the platform. Let's take a look at when. I think we've got some of the times available for you, but with the cross country kicking off today at 1:30. Every time we come to the times, we were doing this last weekend as well with the time changes across the world. 1:30 p.m. EDT, 7:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So you can still watch that in the evening, a nice summer evening in Europe. You can enjoy that, and a nice afternoon for you in the US to enjoy all of the cross-country happenings there in Kentucky. We want to talk a little bit about now how this works, the format of eventing, Rosie, for people who are new to it, because it really is an exciting sport to get your teeth into and a way to welcome yourself into equestrian sport if it's your first time. Because it's a bit like a triathlon, isn't it, for horse and rider?
Yeah, it is. 3 phases, the dressage, the show jumping and cross country. And we'll go into it with more detail by looking at some of the horses later. But it's really, really fascinating, the 3 phases, because you're going to get horses that excel at one, maybe have a weaker phase in another, and how that pans out across a weekend to determine our winner. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah, it does. It paints a real picture, and it's something you can really follow across the course of the weekend, and especially when you come to pick your favourites. All of these horses have characters, all have their strengths, their weaknesses, and all of their differences too, so you can pick your favourite and get behind them. Let's take a look then just quickly at how it all plays out. As you can see, I was saying this earlier, day 1 and day 2 are dedicated to dressage. You don't have to do 2 days of dressage. If you are an eventing rider, you're just riding 1 dressage test, so per horse. Some of these riders, it is important to note, do have 2 horses, so they do have to ride 2 dressage tests, just on different horses. Day 3, of course, as we find ourselves today, is cross-country day. That's when they gallop across that beautiful blue grass, which is not in fact blue. It is still green. It's just called Kentucky bluegrass. We were laughing about that earlier. No, it isn't painted blue. It is green, but it just is what it's called. And of course, day 4 is the show jumping, that test. After they have all of their running across the country, they're then required to come into the stadium and jump over those coloured poles. So exciting, lots to follow and lots to get into across the course of the weekend. We want to get onto the sport now, Rosie, and dig in a little, because as I mentioned earlier, this is a huge weekend for horse sport at the Kentucky Horse Park. We know that we have show jumping at 5-star also running this weekend, the very, very top level of show jumping. Some of the biggest names in show jumping also on site and giving it their all. But separately to that, we have our 5-star, which is what we're going to follow and really analyse today, the 5-star eventing. But also running is the 4-star eventing. Equally fascinating, interesting, and incredible riders and names. In fact, some of those riders who have 2 or so horses in the 5-star are also running horses in the 4-star. So a very, very busy weekend for a lot of them. Let's look into the dressage then. We can actually play a little bit from our leader after the dressage, and it's very, very interesting because she's been a winner here before in the 5-star.
She has. She's a very, very top level rider. I mean, hero for many ways for her win in the 5-star in 2023, but as you say, she's here in the 4-star, and she has such a phenomenal team of horses at this level now. 6 horses at the 4-star level is incredible. And really interesting for her because it's that post-My Bomb era. My Bomb, the horse, of course, that won her that 5-star here back in 2023. So to have that volume of horses at this level means she's seriously competitive. And also to have 2 in the top 3, I think she's got at the moment. She's got Lillette in 3rd and Denito leading the way on that 27. She's coming with all the firepower, and especially as this 4-star is part of that US Equestrian Open series, which is a series across every single 4-star event in the US in 1 year. And there's a big old prize pot at the end of that. So I'm sure she's going to have her eyes firmly on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to say too, it's a really interesting stat. It's one we've heard a little bit about, is in the last sort of 10 years between Mickey Young and Oliver Townend, 2 really huge names in eventing, those guys have pretty much won it every time in the last 10 years. There's only been one other winner, and that is Tammy.
Yeah, 9 of the last 10 has been between Oliver and Mickey, and yeah, Tammy was that one extra. And we'll get onto the 5-star later, but there could be more for the US, who knows, but they'll be definitely looking for it.
We'll be mixing it up, hopefully, today. So what we're going to do, though, now, with this incredible result for Tammy,
together, this combination have done 24 FEIs, Sinead, and they have been in the top 5 at 15 of those, so not bad, definitely. They average in the mid-20s, but they have scored as low as a 21.8 together in 2023, so we're going to see what they can make of this. And he's an interesting horse because he's always been so capable of the movements in this phase, but sometimes We've seen him turn into what they called a little bit of a spicy Cheeto over the years, and here he's looking like a more relaxed standard version, which Tammy would want. So just a few movements left, and will it be enough to go into the 20s and take over the leaderboard? She was predicted by EquiRatings to be toward the top after this phase, the second best in the field, according to the numbers. And that's another good change, so almost done. And it will have been a pretty good day at the office for Tammy Smith and Danito. There is a great halt to finish it off. So it'll be a big smile for Tamara Smith.
This horse is a 10-year-old Holsteiner mare owned actually by Molly Doda and her family. So keeping it very much in the team.
Yeah, this is an exciting mare. Tammy's had the ride since about 2024. She's never been outside the top 10. She won her first furlong at Rebecca, and she was second in her second one at Galway Downs, and she won at Carolina just a few weeks ago. And we would expect these two to be sub 30. Their 6RA is a 29.1, but on their last outing, they were on a 24.5.
So this lady knows what it takes to win.
Super stuff there from Tammy Smith. As we say, 2 horses in the top 3, a 27 flat for Danito there, the chestnut that they call Cheeto, appropriately named. And then obviously Lillet is third with a 29.7, so sub 30, as they were saying there in the commentary. Super cool stuff in that 4-star, really, really good sport, and you can check all that out on Clip My Horse. We want to just quickly take a look at the win chances. EquiRatings and our team and colleagues there have been having a look at those 4 at the very, very top of things there, Rosie.
She does, but interestingly, not with Danito. She's up the top there with Lillet 3, the horse that she's in 3rd place on. And the reason being is because Lillet is fast. Puts her above because time is a big question at Kentucky, so that's what gives her the little bit of an edge. But also you see in second there on 21%, Sharon White. She is definitely one to not overlook because she has this fantastic partnership with Class 63. They know each other so well, they're experienced at this level, so definitely ones to watch. If we head a little bit further down, obviously Tammy Smith again there with Danito, who's leading the way currently, but Will Coleman and very dignified. Will's won this class twice already. He knows exactly what it takes to do well, and Very Dignified is a horse that can finish on his dressage score, very regularly finishing on the dressage score, which sounds so easy. Oh, just jump double clear and don't add any time penalties. Easy peasy. It's not. It's really not. So that really is a big achievement for them. And it's US dominated, which is really great to see for the health of US eventing. But also sneaking in there, Elizabeth Barrett for the UK, for GB, because they've got a really good initiative going on and a new one this year, the Rising Lions. So they've brought over a few of the young riders that are in that under 25 category. And the Rising Lions is there to try and give them a little bit of support, put them onto the international stage, give them that experience of traveling over the world and what it takes to travel horses, which I think is really important because there's always been a little bit of a gap. Once you leave that under 21 category up into seniors, there's a bit of a blank space and they're filling that now. So it's great to see she's doing so well as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And what a stage for her to have the opportunity to perform on. Incredible stuff there. And I just noticed Emma Klugman is there too for Australia, but don't get me started on that little bent because we'll be off to the races with that one, that is for sure. We wanted to take a little look then. You did mention Will Coleman, of course, previous winner. I mean, Will's having a fantastic sort of, there's a narrative around him in the 5-star as well. The previous winners in this format, and there you can see he is at the top there, and Diabolo is that horse that comes forward there in the 5-star that's looking pretty exciting for him. But see those names on the previous winners board.
1, 2, 3, 2024, 2025. Can he do 2026? So it'd just be Will's class then and just dominate the whole thing. Yeah. We'll wait and see. But as you say, his previous winners coming forward in the 5-star, this is where the 4-star is so exciting because you showcase the up-and-coming stars. Even in 2024, a lot of the big stars focused on the 4-star to try and get their ticket and selection to Paris. So it's such an exciting 4-star competition, one that was introduced 6 years ago and one that I think lots of riders are very happy to have on the calendar.
Yeah, and also Alyssa Phillips, their previous winner, also running again this year. So, but as you were rightly saying, the cross country is always a big separator in this class, isn't it? So, and that's where we're really going to see things change up today. So equally as exciting sport in when it runs, obviously the cross country, so make sure you are tuned in to watch all of that. We want to turn our attention. It is really taking over the place. Lots of excitement in the world of eventing and sort of narrative being created around that. And Rosie, the dressage really kicked things off. On day one, we sort of thought, okay, we're seeing a story being created. We then see all these new horses and riders come into the arena on day two and totally flips it on its head.
It was great test after great test after great test, and you're thinking, just about when you get your head around the leaderboard, it's shaken up again and someone new's on top or making their way into the top 10, because of course Monica Spencer out in front. I won't say any more because I think we will get to see some action from her.
Yeah, we don't want to, we don't want to pull any punches, and but we also don't want to reveal any secrets. However, Rosie, you were watching it very diligently, and you did prepare something for us to give us a recap on how those 2 days of dressage went down.
2 days of dressage have set the tone, and the leaderboard is already stacked with world-class performances and a few standout stories. Day one saw a steady build before the competition really caught fire. Tim Price and Global Quest laid down an early marker with a 29.8. Impressive for a horse still relatively new to the 5-star level, and a meaningful one too, with the ride previously campaigned by the late Georgie Campbell. But it wasn't long before the home crowd had something to cheer about. Will Coleman and 5-star debutant Diabolo delivered a flowing, elevated test that earned 27.3 and the overnight lead, a performance full of confidence and harmony. Philip Dutton, a former winner here, kept the pressure on with Poussant. Their neat uphill test slotted them into second on a 28.1. While Great Britain's David Dole delivered a promising test with Galileo New Mode despite the costly extra flying change. There was plenty of focus on two major contenders. Boyd Martin's first ride, Cooley Nutcracker, showed real quality in the arena, expressive in the trot work and well presented despite a far from ideal build-up after Boyd had a fall earlier in the season. They posted a 30.3 to stay firmly in touch with the leaders. World number one Harry Mead also made a strong statement with Superstition, out the marks across the board to score 30.2 and slot them into fourth. So heading into day two, it was Will Coleman in front, Philip Dutton in second and Tim Price in third, but everything was still to play for. And day two delivered. Monica Spencer and Artis produced the test of the competition, an elegant, accurate performance that earned a stunning 22.3, a personal best at the level that soared them into the lead. The pressure ramped up in the final session. Tom McEwen, one of the pre-event favourites, produced a beautiful test with Brookfield quality for a 25.1, briefly taking over second place. But Tim Price wasn't done yet. Back in the arena with his experienced partner Vitali, he showed exactly why he's one of the best in the world. A superb 22.6 pushed him into second, just fractions behind Monica Spencer. Boyd Martin returned with Commando 3 to secure a spot inside the top 10, while Harry Mead remained consistent with his second ride Graffenact, producing a 28.9. And to close out the phase, Caroline Pamuchku impressed with HSH Blake, climbing into fourth and finishing as the and leading the US National Championship. So after 2 days of dressages, Monica Spencer and Artis in the lead with 22.3. Tim Price and Vitali close behind, and Tom McEwen and Brookfield Quality sit in third with a score of 25.1. The margins are tight, and with cross-country next, everything could change.
Amazing stuff in the dressage, and just an amazing story created there for the leader after the dressage, Monica Spencer and Artist. These two are a combination we love to watch. It's a really beautiful story, a really lovely connection between horse and rider. 22.3 in this dressage, making it their 5-star PB. So this is a personal best for this combination at 5-star. And it's the second lowest international test score they've ever recorded. I think they got their best a few weeks ago of 21.3, but obviously not 5-star. I think that was 4-star. So this is incredible for them, and they really, and there's no doubt they go into the cross country with a lot of ambition and very, very good across the country. It may not go their way on the last day, because I did see that in Maryland. I remember in Maryland, they were onto it here and we thought, hey, up, we've got it here. Unfortunately, it just didn't go their way on the last day. And of course, we say she's from New Zealand, but of course in Australia, the great tradition is anytime you do something well, we adopt you and you become Australian. So you can forget about those red stars, they are now white.
That's why you're so passionate about her.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see it. No, we expected her to come in and do a good test. She was going to be one of the favourites in the dressage, but she was predicted to come in around about the 26 mark. So she outperformed what anybody was in position, as you mentioned. Cross country, very fast and very strong cross country combination. And it's important because roughly only 9% of starters at Kentucky will go on to make the time. So it puts her in a fantastic position. As you say, the show jumping on the last day, we'll wait and see how that unfolds. But I'm sure she would be delighted. Everybody else is delighted with it. And she's really put the pressure on for everybody else, because it's a really tight class, as you saw there at the end of the leaderboard. It's all to play for today.
Yeah, and they're sneaking up behind her there, Tim Price and of course Tom McEwen. Not bad when you've got an Olympic gold medalist just riding on your tail. Talking of New Zealand, shall I say New Zealand now? No, they're Australians. We want to talk about New Zealand though, we really do, because we've seen this is a really interesting stat from Echo Ratings. 65 5-star dressage tests from New Zealand riders on US soil since 2008. And yesterday, in this dressage at Kentucky, we saw the 2 best ever on record. And there they are. That is Tim Price and Vitali, a 22.6, and Monica Spencer and Artist there with the 22.3. They have featured before on that list, as you can see. Monica, Tim and Wesco, of course, what an absolute performer there. But these are, you know, you're looking at some of the great names in eventing, in, you know, Andrew Nicholson as well. But Tim factors there quite a lot. He is a big fan of performing well on US soil.
He is, and he's such a dominant rider at the 5-star level. This shows his success, but it's also really interesting for the New Zealand riders. It bodes well for them, because actually on that graphic it showed that everybody had finished in the top 10 on that New Zealand graphic. So fantastic if they can do that. Majority actually make the podium. So can we have 2 on the podium? It'll be really exciting if that's the case tomorrow.
2 Kiwis in Kentucky on the podium. Can they do it? Well, one man who will be trying to do that, and that is for certain, is the ever affable, our favourite, Tim Price.
Vitali. There's 2 more left. You've got into 2nd place. Vitali looked fantastic out there.
Yeah, he's in some great form, and it was on the verge of that form being annoying because he was sharp and just fresh. But he stayed with me, and my plan today was to show as much expression as I could, and in a way that plan, when he was, you know, a little bit lit up, was a good one, because it kept him with me. You know, there was always something around the corner that I was saying, come on now. And he's got the experience and the ability to stay with that. It's really happy. It's a 3-phase event. Yeah, we all know that. But I'm just happy that we've got a good start point, and then tomorrow we'll try and keep ourselves nicely welded to that score, and then a few jumps. I felt bad because Boydie after me, his horse is a bit sharp, and they were going. I was like, hey, why they don't normally clap like that for me? It must be my tall, dark, handsome, thick brown hair. But then I was like, keep quiet, because he's coming in.
Well, that was very sportsmanly of you. It was a great test. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That was Tom from New Zealand, telling us all about how he's done so well. Sitting in 2nd There's one rider you want to see go cross country, but they're really going to vibe there because Artist is incredible across the country. Vitaly's super. Tim Price on deck there across the country is going to be pretty exciting stuff. Let's take a look then at the standings as they are from overnight. That we obviously talked a lot about Monica Spencer, that 22.3, her 5-star personal best, a best ever dressage test by a New Zealand rider on US soil, leading by 0.3 there, Rosie. And then that is who comes behind her.
Yeah, well, Tim Price and Vitaly, we just heard from Tim, as you say, 22.6. So breathing, can't even speak on that. It's like breathing down the neck of Monica Spencer. Yeah. And they're exceptional cross-country jumpers. They've never had an international jumping cross-country penalty together, which is phenomenal. And this is a phase where they really shine. The show jumping is a little bit weaker, a little bit like Monica and Artist. So we'll get to show jumping tomorrow, but today we get to enjoy watching them go cross-country. And Tim is the perfect rider for this horse because you saw how chilled he was coming out of that 5-star test. I'll tell you now, if I was doing a 5-star, I would not be that chilled afterwards. And he is so relaxed because the horse can be a little bit fresh, a little bit excited, a little bit nervous, looky, and he just keeps us cool and rides him beautifully throughout the whole thing. We also have Tom McEwen and Brookfield Quality, and they produce a stunning test, a 25.1. Yeah. Tom, of course, as you say, an Olympic medalist, and this is their best ever 5-star test that Brookfield Quality has done. And also Tom has been second here twice, so he's going to have that fire and that hunger in his belly to really try and go one step further and get the win, because he really does deserve it after being second a few times. Yeah. And for the US, of course, Caroline Pamuchku, HSH Blake, beautiful black horse. He rounded out the dressage yesterday, 26.6. Leading a US rider, so leading that US national standings as well. And that was Caroline's second best top level test. So she'll be absolutely delighted. Another one who could be very good today out on cross country. They proved that they're good 5-star riders and combination. Top 5 then. So excited about.
There certainly is. And we talked a little bit earlier about just how impressive the record has been at Kentucky over the last 10 years. There have been 2 men that have really, just sort of traded places over that time. And then one rogue intervention from Tammy Smith powering through to represent the US. If we look at the previous winners then of this particular class, you can see there, need we go on? I don't know. Tammy Smith, of course, taking it in 2023 with Maya Baum. Talked a lot about her appearing in the 4-star this weekend, but Mickey Young and Oliver Townend notably not present this weekend, so we're not factoring them in at all. And very interesting the impact that a horse like Fisher Chipmunk would have had on the field, because he was out and out, arguably the best horse in the world.
100%, and that's what makes today so exciting, because if you look at the top 12, there are reasons for and against every single one of them as to why they can and can't win. And that makes today such a competitive day, a competitive competition, which is what we really, really want at Kentucky. So it's not going to be a Michael Young or an Oliver Townend battle like it normally is. We should probably have somebody fresh on the leaderboard. But I think it's also worth noting that 4 of the last 10 leaders after dressage have gone on to win. So it could be good news for Monica Spencer. That would be very, very exciting. And also, we're looking for another US rider. As you've mentioned, Tammy Smith there, who snuck in, and that was the eruption from the crowd when Tammy won that year. And actually, there was a lot of pressure on her because there was a lot of clears in the show jumping that year, which you then think to yourself, oh, well, if lots are going clear, it must be easy. Just to go in knowing you have to go clear because everybody else is, I think that ramps the pressure up even more, and she dealt with it beautifully. So if we could have another US rider, that would be great. The other one, of course, has been in 2008, Philip Dutton, and he's in another New Zealand rider come forward, because back in, when was it, 2013, Andrew Nicholson won here. So it's been a long old wait, but they have 2 shots at it.
Yeah, they certainly do. And those Kiwis, can they bring it home? There'll be certainly some interesting stories and plenty more to dig into. But we want to catch up with, Jenny caught up with a few more of the riders, and we want to hear from them now.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with them. I think I botched the last change, so that was a shame because that's always costly. But all in all, like, he can be a spooky sharp horse, and he sort of like stayed concentrating and kept his, we kept it together and felt like I, got a pretty good round on him. So, it's always challenging here, like it's just a test of endurance and stamina, and the course design are really sort of tied. So it's going to require sort of, going out and trying to get a good pace and a good rhythm, and making sure you got plenty of horse at the end.
He's a horse that has a lot of spirit to compete. He's really quiet all week, and it's his great quality actually, because when he goes into the arena, he becomes a better horse and more blood, more fight, more everything. So it's hard to gauge how much you need to work him. I think we did quite a lot of work all week, but he had a little jog in the walk, and then when I went to canter, I could feel him squealing, or I heard him squealing under his breath, and then he came out of the corner like a cannonball. And that caused an error in the first change. But luckily he came back to me after that and he really focused, and I was on the whole really proud of him. It's a proper course. I was saying earlier, I think it's a course where, like Derek, I really enjoy his courses. He's very fair on the horses, but really demanding on the riders. I think you've got a lot of place to gallop, and then you get a really intense period, and that seems to be the pattern throughout the course. He gives you an option to get the horse clear if you want to be clear, but if you want to go inside the time, you're going to work for it.
He's super, isn't he? He's such a pleasure to ride. He's just my best friend. So it's just great to be able to go to these sort of places with your best friend. The thing with this course is there's no let-up fences, so you have to be on your game 24/7. Even some of the nicer gallop fences, they're still pinned and frangible, and so you can walk them early on one of those. So you have to be so focused, and that's 11 minutes of being focused. That's what makes it, again, a 5-star.
I'm very happy with Ken. He tried his very hardest, and hopefully I did him justice as well as I could for today, the circumstance. I mean, he's an excellent cross-country horse. I feel like we've done all the preparation. I've got like a few years under my belt at the lower level, so that helps. That I'm not super young coming to my first 5-star, but it's definitely a huge test. So I'll be having to stay on my game the whole way.
He's awesome. He puts everything he can down in the arena. He's a pleasure to ride, and I must say he's actually quite as an event rider, he's quite a joy. Like, he always bangs out his 25s, and honestly, I didn't think we could have changed too much. So really, really pleased. He's on great form. I think it's probably the fittest and the best he's ever felt, and he's at 17, which is pretty remarkable. And I think I forget myself his age, because actually to everyone else he looks a lot younger still. So yeah, very, very much probably looking at having a great bit of fun tomorrow. Many combination, some combinations where I think he'll let you flow a little bit more, some combinations that are going to come incredibly quick. So I think it's all to do some different uses to train in different areas for me personally. Lucky enough to come back here with Norris, so you do get a little bit of an understanding for how a horse runs on the train once you've been here once before. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Super, and lovely to hear from Tom there just at the end, talking about Norris. Brookfield quality, 17 years of age, travelled to the States, comes out looking like a bunch of roses and is full and ready of running. Just incredible stuff to see that.
Incredible. I do
go. Okay, so it's very cool stuff that we're hearing from the dressage riders. They're all sort of anticipating now, talking about the cross country. But what we do want to just quickly give you a heads up about is we have an incredible part in our academy that's called Inside the Judge's Eye Eventing Dressage, which is going to give you a really unique insight to how eventing dressage is judged, because it's very, very different eventing dressage to traditional dressage. This is available in the Academy section on the Clip My Horse TV platform. We're going to give you a sneak peek now.
Dressage is all about balance. We're going to take a look today at the test that the riders will be riding at the European Championships. When you're doing the shoulder in right, you're supposed to straighten at D before you turn right, and that has to be very clearly shown. In the corner there, into collected walk, where she lets the horse keep coming forward, and then she's able to show a very fluent transition into the canter. You have a test that is harmonious, the horse is relaxed and able to do that to the best of his ability. Then at the end, I will give the rider
well, Rosie, that was super stuff. A really, really interesting documentary there, and available on the Clip My Horse TV Academy. So hit that up and take a look. We want to turn our attention I can't talk, I'm too excited. Now though, away from dressage and to the cross country, because that is of course the phase that takes over horse and rider. So let's take a look then at how the cross country works in the Kentucky 3-day event. It's 4 fast facts. Approximately 4 miles is the terrain. That's how far they will be running, and there's 48 jumping efforts. The optimum time then is 11 minutes and 5 seconds today. So that's how long they're cantering and galloping for across that country. 20 penalties for the first refusal, 40 for refusals for an 3 refusals equals an elimination. I'm getting all excited about cross country and now I can't even speak, Rosie. Now 0.4 of a penalty for every second over that allowed time, isn't it? So got to be really, really on top of that. That's why you'll see all those cross-country riders, all those riders out there with their big watches. They're keeping an eye on their phase timing so they know how to get to that finish line without incurring too many penalties.
And it's really important in a field like today when the scores are so tight, because 1 second over the time can move you positions instantly on that. But also if you're at the level, some people don't look at the watch and just aim to get round. Everybody has different goals, and that's the beauty of eventing, is we see a whole spectrum even at the 5-star level. But yeah, 0.4 of a time penalty could make a big difference.
Yeah, it can make a big difference when everything is tight at the top. Now, I know you've been looking. We're going to take a look at some incredible pictures with Rosie now.
The cross country for the Defender Kentucky Horse Trials presented by Mars Equestrian will follow a similar direction to last year. The opening 3 fences are designed to help horse and rider establish an early rhythm. The first question comes at fence 4, the Mars Sustainability Bay. This is typically a busy part of the course where maintaining focus will be critical. Course designer Derek DeGrazia is known for creating visually striking fences that reflect the surrounding landscape. Spanning 6,312 meters of rolling blue grass, this track provides a significant test of stamina and accuracy. The course features a mixture of let-up fences, technical combinations, and signature features from the Corgi. And with little margin for error, the cross-country phase is set to play a decisive role in shaping the leaderboard.
Ah yes, that incredible Kentucky bluegrass, which is in fact a varietal of grass, not the colour of the grass. But I digress. Rosie, that was incredible. They do look amazing, those fences. Talk about rider frighteners. I don't know. I don't think I would be able to keep my lunch down. I don't think I'd be eating any lunch, in fact, ahead of that one. We're going to get into things, but we want to give you a heads up as to when you can watch this cross country, because it's such amazing sport. It's going to be really exciting, great visuals. If you want to check it out, it is of course on Clip My Horse TV and USEF Network. There we are there, 1:30 p.m. in the States, so a nice afternoon of cross country for you to enjoy, 7:30 p.m. Central European. So you're an hour behind if you're watching us from the UK, and I know many of you will be. Make sure you get a cuppa, get a glass of wine, get the slippers on, the cozies on, and get settled in to watch it here on Clip My Horse TV. We will not miss a stride with our incredible team there in Kentucky. So plenty to watch when the actual sport cracks on, plenty to analyse here before today. We've been talking to our colleagues at Equeratings who are bubbling over with excitement. What can we then expect to see today in this cross-country phase?
Well, with the cross-country at Kentucky, as we can see from this graphic here, on average 57% will jump clear. Now, on average for a 5-star, it's about 50%. So it's a little bit on the higher scale. However, time is really, really crucial here. Only 9% are predicted to jump clear inside the time, which really shows, as we mentioned, those 0.4 time penalties, they can add up, they can be important, and can really shake up the leaderboard, because from the top 12, I would say the win could go to anybody, and time could be a big factor in that. And we have some very speedy horses within that top 12. So it's very important to look at speed and are going out and riding to their markers, because it can really shake up the leaderboard.
Yeah, Derek DeGrazia, The name is being bandied around the sport of eventing now. The rise of this incredible course builder, not only incredible course builder, but he's been a rider. He's actually ridden across tracks like this. He's built 15 courses here. He started building at Kentucky in 2011. He won it in 1985. I wasn't even born. Yes, I was. Sorry, I'm lying. Watch the time. Yeah, as we say, that's the warning from Mecca Ratings. Watch the time, because he's known for fair tracks. They're fair to the horses. They're fair to the riders. He wants everybody to come home safe. But where he will challenge is he'll ask questions on how you make that time.
But he's very clever with how he does it, because what he does is lots and lots of gear changes. He makes the riders have to adjust their speed multiple times to set up for these fences, because he also designs Burghley that we'll see later on in the year. But what's interesting is how different the tracks are. Burghley's very undulating terrain, and that poses a time test within itself. So I think Derek's very clever with his course designing on how he can build a course for Kentucky, which doesn't quite have the terrain of Burghley, but still make it quite the time test. And that's just through tactical placing of his fencing and just making the riders really work through the gears and make sure the horses are set up for every fence.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about some adjustability is a key word, I think of one particular man, and that is Harry Mead. He is renowned for having his horses on point. They are so rideable, so adjustable, and listening to him all the time, he basically looks unflappable across the country. He is an incredible legend as a cross-country rider, and he is our rider in focus today.
Hi, I'm Harry Mead, and I am in Kentucky with two horses, Superstition and Grapanact. So I've been here 3 times before. I've had 3 rides, and in fact, both the horses I've got. And I've finished 5th on Superstition, 4th on Grapanact, and 3rd on Equestrian. This is the event that we really look forward to. It's not a holiday, but you're made to feel like it's a holiday. It's really, really friendly people, and we're looked after so well. The facilities, the event is amazing. There's a really relaxed atmosphere, but it's got that magical buzz to it, and it's a proper 5-star big stage, adrenaline, bucket list competition. So Superstition is he's an older campaigner. I think this is our 6th 5-star together. Mentally, he's quite a fragile horse. He's a real worry, an introvert. He's a horse that I don't actually run in between the 5 stars at all. He doesn't do any warm-up competitions. He feels great. He's a little horse. He runs on his adrenaline, but he's a real competitor, and he's good fun. He's called Slinky in the barn. Grapanact is a mare who we've been together since William Foxpitt retired from the top end of the sport, and she came to Kentucky last year and had a great result and finished 4th behind her stablemate Equestrian. She's a horse that if she was a gelding, she'd be half the horse that she is. She's not necessarily the most sort of maneuverable athlete, but she has a great brain. She tries her heart out. She's very resilient mentally. She has found that the show jumping quite a challenge, but hopefully, yeah, I've tried, when she came to me, I tried sort of thinking outside the box a little bit and just riding her in a slightly different style, and it seems to have worked quite well for her. So hopefully we've found a bit of a key, and she jumped really well here last year, and hopefully we'll try and do the same. It would be wonderful to win a 5-star, probably a great relief more than anything. But at the same time, I love competing at this level, and the horses have, they've been constantly in the top few over the last few years. Had more top few placings than I could have hoped for, and I think the main thing is just to keep enjoying it, and what will be will be.
Super Harry. It's really lovely to see him there. 2 bites at the cherry, of course, 2 rides in the 5-star. Just an incredible story around Harry, current world number one, eventing world number one, a 5-star competition. Unbelievable. And I know you've got a quote about that.
Well, Dermot Byrne has a quote about that. He was the one I heard this from. And when I heard it, it did stop me mowing the lawn and I had to write it down. So I really loved it because he said that Harry Mead is the king of 5-star, which is so true, but without the crown. And I just think, oh, it's just so true. And I'd love one day for him to get that crown because he so deserves it. Last year, the only rider clear inside the time, not once, but he did it twice with both of his horses. And he has 2 fantastic horses here today. And he's in a really, really solid place because he has 2 in the top 10. And he's never had 2 in the top 10 after Dressage at a 5-star before. So could this be his Kentucky?
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. I'd love it to be.
Could it be the day? Could tomorrow be the day that the king gets his crown? We're going to talk about the cross-country jumpers in the field and some of the best ones now, Rosie, because as we're touching on there, we say that Harry is an absolute legend when it comes to going across the country. But there are so many strong cross-country riders and so many strong cross-country horses here in this field.
There really is, and as we mentioned before, Tim Price and Vitali being great cross-country, well, a great cross-country pair. On that graphic, it shows from their last 10 runs, they've been clear in every single one of them. Well, they've never had a cross-country jumping penalty together, so that is really just quite remarkable. And actually, Vitali is going for his 10th clear at 5-star level. Like, that is wild in itself. To go clear once around a 5-star is an achievement, but to go clear 10 times really, really is phenomenal. And that's going to be on par with the likes of Labia Sertique Sam and Michael Young, who very much are the kings of eventing. So I'll be may pick up a few time penalties, but regardless, it would be an incredible, incredible result for him. Commando 3 and Boyd Martin just behind. That would be great for the US. They're really strong on the cross country, and Boyd will be going out meaning business, trying to become the next US. We have other riders, artists. Monica Spencer, we said that they could be strong today. They'd be looking to try and keep that lead at the top of the leaderboard. And of course, Harry Mead with his 2 there, because as you said with Harry, in talking about gear changes, and we've heard other riders say it, especially Boyd Martin, that you don't see Harry make gear changes. He does, of course. However, he's so smooth and in sync with his horses. And as he mentioned that he doesn't run superstition at all between 5 stars, it shows what a horseman he is, and that horsemanship he has, the feel for the horse. Every single one of them is just so detailed and particular and individual to each horse. I think that's why he brings out the best in them.
Yeah, and that's an incredible story too, talking about those 2 different horses. Superstition hasn't run in a 5-star since Badminton last year. Hasn't run at all in eventing. So we haven't seen the horse out competing. Why Harry is such a fine horseman. He details these plans to these horses with such specificity and to their individual needs. He knows that horse inside and out. He knows what that horse needs, and it isn't to go running around competing day in, day out. It's actually better to do everything at home for him. And then to hear him talking about that beautiful mare as well, and she has the heart of a lion, she really does, and tries for him. Nothing like a wonderful mare when you can tap right into their soul like that. They'll really perform for you. So incredible stuff. And we're going to talk too about some of the win chances. I want to touch on one story that Dee and I have talked about quite a bit, and that is the Australian runner out there. She's Sophia Hill. She will, when we talk about the show jumping, she's had 16 consecutive clears show jumping. She's the best show jumper in this field by far. So she hasn't had a rail in the show jumping since 2022. But Humble Glory is a racehorse that's come off the track from Australia, has retrained and is eventing at the very highest level. What an incredible story for retraining of racehorses. This is a full thoroughbred, so we want to see how they go across the country today, because speedy, yes, they are. So that will be something to keep an eye on as well. But let's have a look at our win chances then as we break it all down with the numbers, Rosie.
So our win chances, as we can see here, is really interesting because Brookfield Quality and Tom McEwen out in front with that 19%, although they're in 3rd place at the moment. Brookfield Quality is the epitome of an eventer. Can do a good dressage, as we saw, 25, very impressive. Likely jump clear cross country today, and has a good show jumping record. Could knock the odd pole, we'll wait and see, but on the whole, very strong in each phase, which is nice to see. And because we don't have some super animal, as I'm going to call him, as like a fish chipmunk in this field, it's a really tight competition. As we've mentioned, there's so many who could come and go and take that win, and that is why the win chances are so tight and so bunched together, because it's an open opportunity for many people. Like, even if you're in 4th or 5th, it doesn't matter, you're still out there to play for the win. Also on there, I want to mention David Dole. He's in 12th of Galileo New Mode, but they are so fast. If you want to watch a good cross-country round, tune in for these guys. They have a 9% win chance, and they have been clear inside the time cross-country at the 5-star level 7 times, which is amazing. They've done every Northern Hemisphere 5-star. They've travelled all over. They're very comfortable at this level. They had a couple of falls last year that was very unlike them at the 5-star level, so it'd be interesting to see if they're back on their A game here in Kentucky, which I'm sure they will be. That's the only wobble I can say for them on cross country. Otherwise, they're going to be out there absolutely flying, and I'm sure they'll probably make the time. Also on there, we have Tim Price and Vitali, as we've mentioned, going for that 10 clears cross country. They haven't made the time at 5-star together, so actually I don't think they've made the time at any level internationally together. So that's where they could drop down the leaderboard. They're going to be wanting to keep their foot on the accelerator, and those time penalties could be important, especially because if you're coming into this phase with a horse that maybe doesn't excel tomorrow in the show jumping, you want to try and create a bigger buffer as you can. Try and make it so that you can have a pole or two in hand. So firmly on the accelerator, but it stands a chance, which you can't often say in eventing. There's normally that one good.
Yeah, it's really nice to see this mix up, loads of names in there, loads of like good stories around all of these combinations as they come forward, and super great for the sport. Really cool to mix it up. I mean, we love these really big campaigners where we can get behind, like a Fisher Chipmunk, like a Lordship Scruffalo in the United Kingdom and Ros Cantor, but to see everybody on an almost like it's almost like an even playing field with all of these great names and combinations coming forward. Yeah. It's a proper battle royale, and we're pretty excited about it. Someone else who is very excited about it, he couldn't be here with us in the studio because he is in Kentucky and he caught up with Jenny Rudel. It's Dermot Byrne.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. I'm down here out on course with them. Dragged you out before the crowds kick in. Let's first of all talk about what do you make of it? Was it expected? Talk us through.
A couple of big moments incoming. I mean, we saw with Monica Spencer and Artis, that's what, that is very, very close. Best test from a Kiwi rider that we've ever seen on US soil. Beats her own record. That was what we had seen at Maryland, of course, in the In-N-Out studio. We were there all the way through Maryland. Didn't win. That's still going to be a challenge on Sunday. Very fast horse. Still leads tomorrow night. 7 of the last 10 winners were leading tomorrow night. This year could be a year that breaks it, Jenny. I think there's a couple of interesting things at play. She was a big standout. Tim Price, of course, with Vitali, a top first phase horse. We've seen it. The US have stayed close. And I think that's important. Harry Mead has also delivered one of his best ever 5-star dressage tests. First time that Harry's ever had 2 in the top 10 in a 5-star after dressage. We associate Harry with that strength and that speed cross country, being able to really exert his dominance on a Saturday afternoon. We have now seen him really begin to push in those big dressage scores. He's become a big player as well, Jenny.
And as you said, it is about Harry Mead, amazing out cross country. It is about the cross country now. What are those top 5? What are you expecting from them? Because it's a very strong top 5, but none of them have ever won it here.
There are so many good stories at play here, and this is part of the joy of being in the studio. Where
He's actually so excited. I love this.
This is it. You know why I'm excited? Because for all of the eventing fans out there that have been following an era of Fisher Chipmunk or more recently Lordship Scruffalo, we've gotten used to horses that deliver 18s, 19s, and 20s. London 52 and Laura Collett in that bracket as well. We don't have that this weekend. We've got everything coming about the cross country. I think we're going to see a finishing score of about 30. 82s, they both have some final day. They end up on a score of about 30. You've got Boyd and Commando. You've got Will Coleman and Diabolo. Excellent finishers, excellent final day. Will hasn't jumped in a long format in almost 2 years. So that last finish, that last few minutes of what you're watching now for Will Coleman and Diabolo today. Commando 3 hasn't made the time. Harry Mead has the speed. I think he's the king without a crown. He's the number one who hasn't won a 5-star. He has a major chance this weekend. Keep an eye out. We're just going out on course now soon. Keep an eye out for the early readers, David Dole and Galileo Neamwood. They'll be on the course at the same time as Sophia Hill and Humble Glory. That's your time setter. They're the first ones out. They're your time targets. Late in the field, you're going to see Harry coming with Graffinot. He's right in there in terms of speed as well. He started on a 28. There's huge moments to come all across the field. It's the first time I can say in memory. 9 of the last 10 winners here, Oliver and Michael. Go back, look at Burley now with Roz. Go back, look at Badminton. There are 12 horses that are in this list that can win a 5-star at Kentucky. It's going to be an absolutely magic day. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the speed ratings, the win chances. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Well, if that hasn't got you excited, I don't know what will. Thank you so much, Deb.
He's frothing harder than a badly pulled beer. He really is. I mean, he's so excited. If you're not, that's exactly right. If you're not excited now, goodness me, I don't know what it's going to take. Well, you need to absolutely to tune into this sport now. You've had the sales pitch, and as Rosie just said to me there while you're watching, Dee, I think he's going to be the next man selling tickets out the front, isn't he, next year?
Yeah, Kentucky next year. All you have to do is just play that clip of Dee saying all that's to come, and that will sell the tickets. I felt like I was listening to somebody who'd sent me a voice note, and I put it on ×2, and that's
And that is all we need to say about Mentories training series through our academy, and plenty more to watch on Clip My Horse TV. We've actually got a super one. It's called The Story of My Bomb. Now, of course, a previous winner here at 5-star level, and Tammy Smith, My Bomb's rider, is leading the way in the 4-star. Let's take a sneak peek at that documentary now.
That horse is not your typical what you would normally see in eventing. I think he could have been a Grand Prix dressage horse. I think he could have been a Grand Prix show jumper. And instead, I think he's happy to be one of the best 5-star horses in the world. He loves the camera, and he immediately stops and poses. And you would think that he would be a really cocky horse, but he's not at all. He's almost, I would say, he's more insecure than you would expect. Like, do I look good, or, you know, am I good enough? Like, he's always trying. He has so much try and so much desire to please.
Oh, what a lovely story, and what a magnificent horse, My Bomb. So go and check that out. That's going to get you all goosebumped and ready for the cross-country sport that is coming your way this afternoon if you are in the US, and of course it will be this evening for you if you are in Europe or the UK. We are of course going to talk to you about the dates and times. We need to get these times right, Rosie, because depending on where you are, get into what you need to watch. There it is there. We've got a little note for everybody to see it very, very clearly. This is the cross-country test, of course, 1:30 p.m. in the US and 7:30 p.m. if you are in Europe, and an hour before that in the UK, of course. And of course, we will be here with you throughout the course of the weekend. We've got a little bit more coming from Major League Show Jumping, also taking place Kentucky Horse Park this weekend, and plenty more to come with the all-important day of show jumping, when we will finally crown 3-day event. That is all coming your way on Sunday as well. The in and out shows here on the 24/7 channel. So don't forget to watch those, to tune in. We'll be looking forward. It's been a pleasure to have you alongside me today.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to go and watch the action and see if everything comes true that we've predicted.
Yeah, got the popcorn ready, got it all set. We have all of the cross country ready to come here on Clip My Horse TV. Don't miss a moment of it. We will tomorrow and on our next shows. But until then, take care.
Passion, peak performance, goosebump moments. Experience equestrian sports live and on demand, anytime, anywhere. Horses, sport, entertainment. Clip My Horse TV.
He's up and over, he's got goals! 13. So
Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, defended Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.